Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of homegrown talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We got a good one for you today. I'm going to talk about some really fun stuff that happened over the weekend. We are. Let me see who's checking in with us, though. Hi, Marie. How are you? Good to see you with us today. Checking in on the Book of Face. Oh, my long lost buddy, Seven West. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing all right. Good to see you on here. Hi, Bill Allred. How are you? Good to see you. Rob Paisley in the house. Dirk Turner from Crying Out Loud joining us also today. So thanks for dropping in, guys, on this Monday. This is Backstage Hall Pass for a Monday. Your number one source for live local music, news, bands, venues, and more. Yes. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun things today. We are. And we'll talk about Springfest over the weekend. Had a great time there. And yeah. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Speaking of Springfest, Sarah was there. We'll talk about her too. All right, Glenn in the house. How you doing on the YouTube channel? Thanks for checking in from the Wanderers. Hollywood in the house. Hope you had a good weekend. It looked like you did. Enjoying yourself down there in Hamilton, Ohio. Hey, Douglas, how are you? Thanks for being here. Happy Monday to you, man. And yeah, Kevin Cooper throwing in who he saw. So there we go. Is that Jackwagon or Jagwagon? I don't know. Never heard of Jagwagon, but you never know. All right, let's see what we got. Steve Stein in the house. Saw him all weekend long. He worked his butt off at Springfest too. Hi, Dewey. Thanks for being here. Gina, got to see her Thursday night for a few minutes before the monsoon. And she was on a motorcycle, so she had to hightail it out of there. She did. All right, Jimmy Kilroy in the house too. Nick Gore, thank you for being here, Nick. Nick played over the weekend down in the Berg as well. Didn't play Springfest, but they did the party down there at Jane's on Main. Good stuff. Gina saw the gamut. Okay, thank you, Gina. And Gary Ridgway is here. And Gary, we're going to talk about you in just a minute. Lakes Ridge, got to see them. First time ever getting to see Lakes Ridge. Good stuff. That is correct. They don't submit gigs. Get on them, Kevin Cooper. Get on them, my friend. Jay Clark in the house, too. We got to see him for a brief bit over the weekend, so that was cool. So I'm sporting the Springfest shirt. We'll talk about that in just a moment for those of you that are with us here today. But I do want to talk about our Thursday night. And thank you last week, guys, for sharing the show and doing all the things. And we appreciate that. We had 1.8 thousand views on the show. Little down. We're going to have to up our game. But a little down last week. But it's getting nice outside. People are not necessarily on their phones as much as they are in the winter. At least that's what I'm going to blame it on. And we still 1.8 thousand is a great viewership on Thursday's show called Who's Playing Out. We appreciate you sharing that and supporting local music and the musicians that bring it to you. Hi, Kara. Thanks for being here. I know you saw some music over the weekend. Thanks for posting on our page today. Benny Bodine is in the house too. Good to have you. And Jamie Minnick's going to post all the people she got to see over the weekend. Thank you for that. And Jay Clark, always a pleasure. I threw your comment up there real quick, but let me throw Jamie's back because it's long to read. So people can read the thing. But let me talk about Thursday night. Went to the Bell and the Bear Jam just like Jamie did. Got to see Jamie. And Jamie Minnick, she was there partying it up. She was my one of two friends that night. If you happen to see every week, it gets better and better. Karis at Bell and the Bear keeps making funny signs for my table that she reserves for me. And the signs get better every week. This week, I had 0 friends on there. It was reserved for me and no friends. It's kind of a running joke and kind of fun. But I'll pay her back soon. Believe me, I'll pay her back. Glenn's throwing in his too. Saw the gamut. He says in Saturday, Danny Frazier. There we go. Thank you for that. Appreciate that one. Got all kinds of stuff going on. Gary says he saw videos. So there we go. And let's talk about the Bell Jam on Thursday for just a moment. The house band that night and hosts Kevin Cooper, Jamie Combs there, and then David Pretty on keyboards, Rick Dews on bass, David Parks on drums. Good group of musicians and a fun night at the Bell. Now there was all kinds of stuff going on. There was storms. It was crazy. It was sideways raining down there, but there were some great people there to celebrate Chelsea Calloway's birthday. And we want to give Chelsea a big shout out for having hers. And, Chelsea's got a powerhouse voice. She got to sing. I got to hear her sing. Got to see the boys from Second Wind, the horn section from Second Wind there with Chris Reese singing with them. Really, really quality stuff there. And TJ was in the house. Charlotte from, Red Hot Riot. Rick Kern from all the projects he's in. It's a who's who of musicians, guys. And Gary, thank for that. Doc says you're doing great. I'm glad to hear that. 4 more weeks of home rehab and we'll be out afterwards. Well, I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Gary, when you get it back out and about, my friend. And Rick George there throwing in the Heath Bowling rocked at Miamisburg. We'll talk about him too in a minute as we recap our Springfest weekend. Hi, Julie. Thanks for dropping in. Hope you had a good weekend. And Sarah Denny is in the house there, and we're going to talk about her in just a moment. So hats off again, Bell and the Bear Jam, always off the hook on Thursdays. Good stuff happening this Thursday. If you want to come on out, you could be my one friend. You could. So come out. Let's prove Karis wrong this week. I think Mrs. All Around Town may attend this Thursday too. So you never know what might happen. But it was a big weekend for us. I went nowhere. Well, I actually did on Saturday night. We'll mention that. But really, my schedule was Springfest in the Berg. And what a great event. 90 craft booths, carnival, games for the kids. Of course, all the festival food that you could ever want. And then the music and the entertainment was just fantastic all weekend long. Now, we had a little rain we'll talk about on Saturday, but let me dive in, first of all, with Springfest. I want to talk about Devin and Dan Douglas, who put it on. They're 2 young people who have a passion for Miamisburg. They have a passion for the community, and they just did a fantastic job of throwing this thing together. And it takes a lot of work to make it happen. So happy Springfest to them and a successful event, even though the weatherman didn't help us and Mother Nature a little bit on Saturday. But the rest of the weekend, we had a great time. And I want to mention Sarah Denny before I move on here. Sarah was there painting. She does music-inspired artwork, and she's painting pictures. And some of her artwork this weekend just blew me away. I mean, the artist, as they're on stage, she's painting a picture of them there for people to watch her work. Just really cool stuff. And Sarah's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. She has just an absolute passion for music and art and puts it all together. And her stuff is on sale. If you don't follow Sarah Denny, at least look at some of the musicians I'm going to talk about, because many of them put pictures of the paintings she did for them. And and there's Devin with me right now. How you doing, Devin? Thanks for being here. I was just mentioning what a great event it was over the weekend and how much fun we had there. And we're going to talk about all that. And what do we got here? Let's see. Kara saying the picture Tiffany May shared of Sarah's was beautiful. It was so cool. And it was so nice to have her right there by the stage. People could walk by and see it going on. And Sarah getting a lot of love here from Devin and from Steve Stein, who we'll talk about. He played in the Times, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But really cool to have her there. So, Sarah, I'm glad you're on here. Big shout out to you, and keep doing what you're doing. I was there when she started doing like little pencil drawings in bars watching bands, and she's taking it to an all new level. Let me tell you, this whole painting thing is amazing. So thank you, Sarah. And we look forward to more and more of your artwork. I have some hanging in here. The camera angle does not show it though, but I do. And we'll one of Sarah's little pieces that she did one night. Somewhere in here, it's there. I'm trying to think of what it's hanging over that way. So yeah, we'll have to put that down where people can see it and let them see her work. So let me talk about Friday night. Kicked off, beautiful weather Friday night, awesome. 5:00 opening ceremonies, all that took place. Vice Mayor was there on Friday night. His name is, hold on, I'll get it here. Who was the Vice Mayor? Gosh, come on, Scott. You know who he was. I had it written down. I'm losing it. Devin, help me. Help me with the Vice Mayor's name, please, if you will. Yeah. I'm looking all over. I had it right here on my sheet and I've lost my place. Oh, well. Jeff Nestor. Thank you, Devin. Goodness, that was quick. And that was Saturday, was it, that he was there? Yeah, that was Saturday. Well, I'll get to it. You know, I'm confused. Friday night, 9/8 Central kicked off the party. Okay. 9/8 Central playing West Green. Mike Pettigrew kicked it off on Friday night, doing a great job, playing some wonderful music, combating the chainsaw demonstration that was going on. This guy does amazing work too. The chainsaw guy who takes a block of wood and turns it into an animal. You know, it's wild, and he does it all with a chainsaw. And thank you, Devin, for that. I was working. I was trying to work. Yes. Yeah, I think we did 40 hours easily that weekend. You were working hard. But hats off to 9/8 Central for kicking it off. It's not always easy to be the opener of an event like that on a Friday night early, because it was like they started. We had a scholarship presentation and Springfest. This is what the money goes to. They gave away $1,000 scholarships to 3 Miamisburg students that community service or the arts, that they were into that, and that's what they gave them for, and it was really cool, and that was fun to be a part of. And then 9/8 Central took the stage, played their music, and did a superb job of getting the crowd warmed up, even with the chainsaw running in the background. I felt like I was at a Jackal show for a minute. And then Lakes Ridge took the stage. And Lakes Ridge, and one thing I like to see too is Mike and Wes went out in the audience and sat and watched Lakes Ridge and supported the guys that were playing that night at 7:00. And Ryan Lakes on vocals, killer vocals and guitar. Gary Ridgway playing fiddle, mandolin, and let me tell you, I've seen lots of bands with fiddle players and harmonica players, and sometimes they overplay. And this guy, I'm going to tell you, Gary was perfect. He puts the fiddle in there when it needs to be and plays it like a champ. Just absolutely perfection. And we really had a great time with Lakes Ridge. Pat Kierstead on bass. He's been around playing for years and years around town. And Steve Spielman on drums. And just a killer job on Friday night with Lakes Ridge. Had a huge crowd there. Lots of people watching music. And, and they were sponsored. The whole stage was sponsored by Jane's on Main. And you hear us talk about Jane's on Main sometimes during the week, as we talk about David Thornton playing there and other people playing there on the weekends. David Thornton plays every Thursday. Jane's on Main, huge sponsor there, and covering the bands for Friday night. So again, and the song list that Lakes Ridge had, really good stuff. You need to check them out if you haven't. My first time seeing them, as I said, and I'm a fan. I'll be at other shows and watching these guys. They play in the Miamisburg area a lot. You can catch them at Jane's on Main, things like that, and they'll be playing. Just follow their page. Do that, and really good job. So hats off to the folks for kicking it off on a Friday night. It was a good one. It was. And then we came right back and did it again on Saturday. And one thing Saturday, I have to say, the parade was going on, and luckily I got in right before the parade hit the downtown area, and I was able to scoot into the parking area there that they had for us. But the parade was unreal. Lots of units had the Shriners in it. Hi, Chuck. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Guys, if you're out there, if you were at Springfest, make a comment. If you were somewhere else this weekend and saw some other people play, we'd love to see it in the comments, or you can put it on the post on our page if you would. Devin says they're so fun. They are. And one thing that just warmed my heart, and one was the national anthem being done. And, that was done on Saturday. And that was, let me get her right, Diamond Coleman, who sang that, Miss Heart of Ohio. And yes, Jeff Nestor was there. That's why my note was on Saturday and not on my Friday sheet. But Jeff Nestor, the vice mayor, said a few words. Diamond Coleman sang the national anthem, did a fantastic job. And, what a patriotic moment when you're standing there and the flag's waving and she's singing and the crowd is into this festival. It's Small Town USA. It's exactly what it was. And it was really, really cool and loads of fun. Absolutely loads of fun. But then came these little dancing girls and they just made you smile. Vicky Joe Dance Studio hit the stage. And when they hit the stage, guys, I will tell you, it was these girls did probably 25 different performances. Vicky Joe has been in business, the Vicky Joe Dance Studio in Miamisburg, 64 years. That says something there that somebody's been in business that long. And I know there's been 3 different owners and things like that, but it's still just unbelievable to see the families who gather and come to watch these little girls dance on the stage. The girls were so proud. They were all made up, looking good. And Sierra, that's now the owner of Vicky Joe's, did a great job of coordinating that. And it ran like a well-oiled machine with her and her staff and bringing those folks out. So, if you're out there, guys, make a comment. Let us know what you're doing today. And if you saw anybody over the weekend, we want to hear from you. Because we're talking about our weekend where I had the opportunity to MC and host a festival in Miamisburg called Springfest in the Berg. And Flash G has joined us. We're just about to get to you, Flash G, actually. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for being here. Hi, Chuck. Thanks for dropping by today. Appreciate you guys checking in on a Monday. We appreciate it a bunch. Then out of Springboro, Ohio, Jeannie Moreland Dance Theater took the stage, and they've been in business 46 years, and that was cuteness overload too. I mean, there were some little bitties out there dancing, and it was so cute to see them all, like under 4-year-olds. And of course, the moms in the audience are trying to do all the dance moves to get the girls to follow them because, they're 4. And it was just so fun to watch, and loved it. Loved the whole thing, the theme of that. And, the kids came right from the parade, being in the parade, and then jumped up on the stage and did their thing. And that's how we opened the morning. Then came the music about 1:00 in the afternoon. And Flash, it was great seeing you as well. And absolutely great to see you. Opened it up, and we knew the weather was going to get a little dicey on Saturday. And of course it did. The Times went on the stage from Dayton, Ohio. If you don't know the Times, our friend Steve Stein's on here right now. But the Times, and that was Donna on vocals, Ken on guitar, Steve on bass, and Jeff on drums. And thank those guys as well for putting on a good show. And they were the only one on Saturday that got through their whole set. Yeah. And Hollywood saying who he got to see over the weekend. Thank you for that. Yes. Carrie said Second Wind was great on Saturday at the Bell. All right. Jim Burns Band, Hollywood got to see, and the Raylene Nelson Band, Raylene Nelson Band. That's Willie Nelson's granddaughter. And he took a picture with her. I was a little jealous of that, I must say. A little jealous. Yes. So let's move on. Let's talk about the Times. Cool set. Some really neat, good, older, and I won't say like ancient music, but older music that you don't hear a lot. Some good 80s stuff, classic rock stuff. The Times did a really good job of keeping the crowd involved and all that, and keeping people there. Even though the rain was imminent, it was. So right at the end of the Times show there was a little bit. Devin says ancient. Springfest says ancient. Yes, it was not ancient, but to you it might be, you youngsters, but to me it was right in my wheelhouse. The Times were playing what I wanted to hear. So that was cool stuff. And thank you, Steve and company, for that. You guys did a wonderful job. And all the bands were so easy to work with over the weekend. And I've got to give a big shout out to Mike May and Harlan doing sound. They worked their butts off, and doing sound for a festival is hard. It is. I mean, you're changing bands out, you're changing mics out, you're doing everything. And despite that, we had rain too. So lots of moving parts to a festival, and really ended up being perfect. Just the whole weekend ended up being a perfect weekend, other than the washout that occurred on Saturday. But let me back up and talk about Short of Stable. They got 7 songs in before Mother Nature threw Armageddon on Miamisburg. Lightning, thunder, sideways rain, as Forrest Gump would say. It was all there. Sarah Denny, she was soaked. She was trying to get all her stuff put away, and we were trying to get speakers in under the cover and all those things. And I had to laugh. I told Tiffany and Mike from Short of Stable that, they really were just acting like a national act. Come out, do your 7 songs, move to the next city. Just get on the tour bus and go. But it was funny. They did get 7 songs in, and Tiffany came out swinging, man. She hit the ground running and did a great job. And if you've ever heard Short of Stable, if you haven't, Tiffany's got a powerhouse voice, killer voice. And the rest of the band's a show in itself. And Adam on bass cracks me up. I mean, he's all over that stage, man. He's like a Mexican jumping bean type guy. He's everywhere. Just a great time with that. Springfest said they couldn't afford more songs from them. I like that. Yeah, well, it was. They also had green M&Ms backstage. I want to know about that. That was in their contract as well. But Short of Stable, then the rains hit. We were watching the radar, doing everything. Devin and company made a command decision to have to shut it down for the night. And unfortunately, when you're at the 5:00 point in a festival and everybody leaves because of lightning and thunder and torrential rains, they're probably not going to be back, unfortunately. So everything, even though it cleared up at like 8:30 or 9, it's just too late to get anything going on. And absolutely saddened that our friends from Flash and Top Secret could not be there. Flash G, Top Secret, one of the greatest fun party bands you'll ever see. And they were going to headline Saturday night and just got rained out. In fact, their drummer was there. He had his drums unloaded already backstage, and I ended up having to pull a tarp out of the truck and help him cover up because of this. And it was a sad thing not to have our friends from Flash G and Top Secret there, because the crowd would have loved them that night. It was good. And that's the stuff that unfortunately happens in the spring in an outdoor festival. It just, you're at the mercy of the weather. So that's what happened. And Flash, I know you're out there, man. Thank you so much. There were some great sponsors. Miamisburg Merchants Association sponsored the Times. Good Time Charlie's sponsored several bands, Short of Stable for that day. And Bennett's in Miamisburg, good restaurant. Bennett's was supposed to sponsor our friends from Flash and Top Secret. Well, they did. They just didn't get to play, and that's sad. Bennett's good, Jane's on Main. It's great people that sponsored all that. So that was our Saturday. And again, good stuff from the Times, good stuff, especially from Short of Stable. And we wish we would have been able to hang out with Flash. I was looking forward to that for the evening. I was going to pull a chair out front and just kick back after I announced them on and watch them play, because they put on one heck of a great show. So we'll get them back to Miamisburg. You never know. They'll be in that area, and we'll let you know when Flash G and Top Secret are going to play somewhere soon. You guys can get out and check them out and support those guys, because they were there. They were ready to go. They were. So I want to talk about Sunday real quick. And then I also need your comments, guys. If you're out there today, please drop a comment on who you saw over the weekend. If you saw something that you loved, please do. Springfest says it was highly anticipated. Yes. And you see Springfest is on here making comments. If you haven't liked their page, do it, so you're ready for next year. And you know who's going to play and the lineup and all that. And if you want to get involved, you can get involved in many different ways to help out at Springfest. And Sarah said they wanted to hear. There's a comment from Flash G. What's he got to say? You know what, Flash, you're just a class act. Thank you so much, man. And love you like brother. And I appreciate you even more. You're just so cool. And he came down on Sunday and supported the musicians, and I admire that as well. So really cool stuff there. Hi, Steve, for driving in. Steve from Timestamp is in the house. And yeah, Flash G, we got to get you down here somewhere. I don't know if you're playing Heathers or not this year, but we got to get you involved. Heidi got to see Tantric at the Blue Note on Friday with some other great bands. That's fun. That's fun. Blue Note has some good shows. We mentioned that in our Who's Playing Out. Kara said she got to check out Naked Karate Girls at Austin Landing, and then ran into someone from Heather's Music Trivia. She just thinks it was Lori. Okay, there you go. Eric's in the house. Eric, I haven't laughed as hard as I have at the caption on your pictures today. That picture of you and the boys from Six String Hustle just cracking me up. All right. Stephen Bell in the house. He was doing some sound out at the Blue Note on Friday night, I think it was, wasn't it? At the Blue Note? Was it Friday or Saturday? Tantric was there. Trying to remember. Blue Note's in Harrison, Ohio, Springfest, way out in Harrison, Ohio. About a 45-minute trip from us here in the borough, at least. Thank you, Flash. I appreciate you, buddy. So let me get finished up this on Sunday. I'm running out of time, but I want to talk about Sunday's show because that was another one where it ended up being a perfect day. Sun came out. It was beautiful. And we had some good stuff. It was Friday, Stephen Bell said. Okay, in the pub. There you go. And Heidi's throwing another one in there. She got to see the Taylor Made Band. Heidi loves her music. She gets out. So on Sunday, opened up the show at noon on Sunday with Fleming Creek. And Fleming Creek, a 3-piece band that played on Sunday. Let me see. I got some notes on them here if I can. And they're from Kettering, Miamisburg area. So several kind of a mixed bag where they're from. Rick Weiss on vocals and guitar, Dave Dixon on electric guitar and vocals, and Jill Weiss on bass and mandolin. And they did a nice opener. It was a nice soft opener for a Sunday, and a good way to get the festival going. They're not the rock out band, but boy, they played some good stuff. They played some John Prine music, which I dearly love, a little bluegrass flair to them, and a lot of their own original stuff that they did. So, that was fun. And Fleming Creek opened up the show at noon, and people loved them, and people love their personality too. And Sarah just made a comment about that. Nice people. They are super nice. Couldn't have been any nicer. And like I said, all the musicians on stage, there wasn't a diva in the bunch, and sometimes you do a festival, you get people who get a little antsy about their sound or this or that. And everybody just came in and had a great time. And I had a great time hosting. I mean, I enjoyed doing the MC work, and hopefully did the job for Devin and Dan that they needed, and helped mention sponsors. And those are the people that make those kind of events happen. 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, local favorite Ben and Pete, and I can't say enough about these two. They, no offense to anybody that played, but Ben and Pete stole the show, man. They had a huge crowd, and Ben and Pete, man, where does Ben Davis get that voice? He sang some songs that had so much range in them that just blew me away. And Ben and Pete are a fun act to watch. I mean, they have a good time. They played. It's an all ages type show. I mean, they're doing things like mashups with Disney songs and all this. It's cool. And yes, thank you for that, Springfest. That's a great slogan for them. And Glenn saw Doug Hart Friday doing his acoustic. Where were you for that one, Glenn? Where'd you see Doug Hart on Friday? Mention the venues too, guys. We want to hear from you. Being nice is a requirement for Springfest. There you go. Well, I think everybody was pretty nice there. It's a family-friendly event, folks. It's a good thing. But Ben and Pete, Peter O'Neill, Ben Davis, Peter O'Neill also playing in the Homegrown Band. He played on Saturday night down at Jane's on Main. So we mentioned them a lot on the show. And also, Ben and Pete, when they play out, it's definitely a Miamisburg favorite. And, Mr. Davis, as my granddaughter would refer to him as a teacher, he's got a powerful voice and a really smooth voice. They ended the show with The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and he's singing these high falsettos that are just unreal. Just a really good time. And they had fun, and we had fun. Oh, thank you, Glenn, for letting everybody know that. You can mention it if you'd like. And Ben and Pete, when they play out, it's a Miamisburg favorite. And, Ben and Pete, when they play out, it's definitely a Miamisburg favorite. I mean, they have a good time. They played. It's an all ages type show. I mean, they're doing things like mashups with Disney songs and all this. Just a really good time. And they had fun. You can mention it It's not that I don't like the venue. No, I'm just not mighty enough to play there. All right. Yes. Pizza teacher too. Yes, I know that. I was getting to that. Matt, you should have come on the show, Springfest. Yes. And Kara said it was amazing. I'm not sure what she's talking about. But yes. Yes, they did end up going to see Saturday night to see them. Now, I'll back up in a minute. I'm talking about Springfest. I'll back up to my other Saturday night gigs here, and I've got to go. We were running way late. It's 30 minutes into this thing already. But I want to talk about Sunday some more. Ben and Pete, awesome. That's all I got to say. Just awesome. Crowd favorite, huge crowd for them. Good stuff. And then following Ben and Pete, Heath Bowling, sponsored by Good Time Charlie's. Ben and Pete was sponsored by M & Co. in Miamisburg. Good Time Charlie's sponsored Heath Bowling at 3:30. Heath did a nice set. Heath, I haven't seen Heath play in a while, and he's really added a lot of music, wide range of music, everything from some newer real country to, some going back in the 90s, doing Pearl Jam, things like that. Heath Bowling, he did too. Had a lot of people there were fans, absolutely big fans of his. The bandwagon tour at Riverbend. Oh, you like that? I didn't see that comment earlier. Apparently somebody made. But Corona J. Buffett. There we go. Let's look at that one. You guys can read that one while I'm talking. I got to roll. So, Heath Bowling, fun. And we had a good time with him. I unfortunately had to interrupt him after 2 songs and make an announcement about illegally parked cars, which happens in a city when you have a festival and they're going to get towed if they're not moved type of thing. So we had to do that, but Heath is a good sport about that stuff. And we had a really good time. And Flash, what's cool is the connection. Flash got to meet Heath. He'd heard about him. He'd never seen him before play and all that. And really, Heath works the crowd too. He does a great job of interacting with his audience, and had some fans there. He did, some Heath Bowling fans. And if you've heard us talk about him a bunch, he plays. Gosh, he's got a lineup next week. He's already sent me. It's like 6 nights next week or something. He's playing all over the place. And Jim Kelly was the last act. He went on at 4:45 till 6 o'clock, and he was sponsored by Ed Jones. And Jim Kelly, he's a storyteller, man. He can tell a story, and he's got stories. He does. And he played music, kept a crowd around, people sitting out there, and it was a beautiful day by that time. I mean, Heath said, and Jim said, the weather was just perfect. Not too hot and not, a little sunny, kind of fun. So Jim Kelly, if you haven't followed him, he follows the show here. He's on quite a bit. So check him out if you will. And I don't have time to name all the different songs that they played. One thing Flash just mentioned, Ain't No Sunshine, that Heath did, Bill Withers song, great. And it was just a fun event, guys. A wonderful event. Hometown festival. There were tons of sponsors, tons of people working too, and they should get a big shout out. The committee, Springfest committee, because it takes a village to run one of those. I mean, you got to have parking attendants for the VIP type parking or the band parking. You've got to have people running the booths. You've got to have people running money, selling the beer, all that. It's a big deal, and it's a hard bunch of work. And Devin and Dan, you did a remarkable job of putting this together. And, I will say, I'm just going to say it. Springfest committee is made up of a bunch of young people, and it makes me feel great that all these young folks take an interest in their community and are stepping up to continue traditions and make things better even when they come into like a community festival. They have great ideas and it's hard. So give them a big shout out and thank you, Springfest. Thanks for having me and trusting in me to be your announcer, because I enjoyed it. I met a lot of people, and yes, as they're called, young whippersnappers, did a great job. Now, let me talk about Saturday night when Flash got rained out. I took a little trip home, got myself unsoggied, and ran down to Mr. Burroughs Tavern, saw Jay Clark Band with Nick Wheeler sitting in on bass, had a great time with them. Really big crowd at Mr. Burroughs in Springboro. So good job, everybody, and thank you. And Jay Clark, I don't have time to talk a lot about your show, but I will say I got to see you. We will post pictures. We have some pictures, guys, that'll come up here in the next day or two of our weekend. And then I ran down to Heather's for the No Refunds band. I caught their last 3 songs. I got to go see them as well. I've seen Jay Clark a bunch. I've got to go see No Refunds and see a whole night of theirs because they were killing it at Heather's. The crowd was huge at 10:30 at night when I got there, 10:40 at night. And again, got to see him play. You know, there's a hard curfew on sound, and it goes away at midnight or at 11 o'clock. So I got to see a few. They were putting on a party. Really, really entertaining band. So No Refunds band. First time really checking them out as well. So great weekend of music, people. Hope you had one. If you haven't gone to our page yet, there's about 20 of you who have and posted on our post about who'd you see over the weekend. Give your favorite band a shout out and the venue they were playing, and let people know that you're a supporter of live local music. And yes, Springfest in the Berg likes No Refunds. Okay, they've seen them before. I had not, so I was happy to see that. Heather Matthews, thank you. You're great too. You guys worked your butts off. Thank you so much for all the effort you put in. And McKenna backstage. Poor pregnant McKenna sitting in a chair in the heat and all that, doing a great job. So yeah, really, really some wonderful staff there at Springfest. That's all I got. And for now, and Heidi says, Carrie, so Heidi must have been at that. Somebody should have called in today and talked about that Miranda Lambert show and all that. I heard it was great. Everybody seemed to have fun. So guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I've run way over today, 6 minutes worth at least. And what do we got? Top 5 Tuesday tomorrow. Thank you for that shameless plug. Tomorrow night, Mr. Burroughs Tavern. I'll be hosting trivia. Top 5 Tuesday tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I gotta go. Where's my sound effects? No, I got my music. There it is. Let me find something here. I do. I gotta get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now. Oh, I gotta throw Dan in.
Great question, Scott.
Thank you, Dan. There we go. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.